And we are back. Happy New Year's, everybody. And with New Year's comes new resolutions, the kind of thing like being a better parent or being a better son, being a better neighbor, being nicer to people around you while working on yourself, trying to get the things that you want more this year. Try to, I don't know, work on your diet, work out, learn how to code perhaps. And today is a big day, not just because of that, but also CS50 just launched their update to their main course, CS50X. And all you have to do to take it is go to this site here, cs50.harvard.edu // X. Don't do 2024, just do up to X. And it will guide you to this page here. And I think they've just updated a couple of things here for the course, but for the main part, it is still the same course, meaning that if you started it last year and you didn't finish it, you can still submit your homeworks and everything just transfers over. But you guys know I'm a big fan of this course. This course pretty much changed my life. I went from, zero experience and zero knowledge at all in coding to basically working my way up to a couple of their courses. And at this point, I'm working on my final project for CS50w, which is their specialty or their follow-up course to CS50. So CS50 has a couple of distributions. They have them listed over here. So they have CS50X, they have AI, business, all this stuff here. I've taken Python, I've taken X, and now I'm working on CS50w, which is a little bit more intense on the JavaScript side. It teaches you React, and the app and the final project that I'm building here is a lot more robust than the final project for the main CS50 course. So that's what we're working on right now. And I actually don't like to build projects kind of like on the go. I know there's a lot of people that like to do that. They like to just, as they are coding, they're designing the project. They just have it in their head. They don't necessarily have a design for it. They just kind of just go code and, in my mind, hope for the best. That's not how I do it. I'm actually using this software called Figma to design what it is that I'm building. And at this point, I'm building an app which is going to link two services, two other apps. I've actually built all the different views and all the different pages that I need for my app. And at this point, I am just working on, I guess, the easiest one of them, which is this feedback little app. So it's basically an app within an app, and this allows my users to submit suggestions of what type of features they want to see in the app. We've actually coded most of this, and yesterday we left off in a bad place, I would say. We were very stuck, and that's what we're going to try to solve for now. So let's get right into our dev environment. And I already started my virtual environment. I just want to go ahead and cd into the actual folder and run Python of manage. Wait a second. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, so that would be Python of manage.py run server. And I could just go to that link there. And that's the app that we're building. And this is the feature that I'm talking about. Now, it does look slightly different than the design, but it's just a matter of design. The functionality is exactly the same. The buttons more or less are in the exact same place. It's just that it is kind of hard to do this design pixel by pixel, especially because I don't necessarily like design so much, and I'm trying to do this quickly, and I'm using Bootstrap. So the actual design over here is just from straight out of Bootstrap, which works for me, and I think it's enough to turn the homework in. So in the last time that we coded, we left off where, we can submit a new comment here. So I can just hit comment, but then it doesn't do anything, right? It's like stuck. And if we take a look at our console, we are getting some type of reference error, not really sure, data not defined, etc. So that's what we're trying to figure out today is how do we resolve for this? How do we fix this? Yeah. Can't get started without coffee first. Now let me know, like, what are your New Year's resolutions? What are you working on? How are you gonna make this year matter? How is this gonna be your year? Let's take a look. So I guess my first clue here is to figure out where is this data constant or variable or whatever coming from. And let's see. I do want to add a goal for today just because this is like a New Year's goal. So I'm going to add a goal to the chat here for the next 2 hours. So I do have a goal today of coding for 2 hours. And I'll host a Q&A session, like a one-on-one Zoom meeting or with you guys where, you know, we could all kind of just come together and share. Maybe we'll have a beer over Zoom and host a one-on-one. Now I'm saying one-on-one, but it's as a group, but you know, like everybody can talk, everybody can ask questions live. I'll host a one-on-one session on Zoom, and yeah, I'm gonna start one super chat. So whoever wants to go for it, it's 300 shekels, which is about $75, and I'm actually just gonna go ahead and donate that money. I'm not gonna keep it. I'm just gonna donate it to let me see. So there is a organization in my area which it's called Kol El Chabad, and they feed the needy. I don't know, people that don't have enough food, whatnot. So whatever money comes from the chat, I'm gonna donate it to them, and I'll post on the channel the actual donation. All right. So you know what? I'll even match it. So the super chat right now is again around $80. I'll match that, and then we'll donate to that organization. Okay. So you see, we're starting the year just trying to do something nice for what I know and what I've donated before to this organization. Like I know what they do. I know the type of people they target. You know, it's people that it's very unfortunate because I have this channel and I'm trying to share with you guys my journey. But unfortunately, there are people who don't have just even enough brain power, enough knowledge to help themselves. Like you could explain things all day to them, and at the end of the day, they're still gonna find an excuse not to do it. So I don't necessarily think that's a lack of character in the person. I just think that they're just not able to. And you know, as a society, I guess we do have a bit of a responsibility towards these type of people where it's like, you know what, they can't even help themselves. We should be helping them out. At least have a warm meal at the end of the day. All right, so let's continue here. So what am I doing here now? I am trying to figure out exactly why this is not working. So the logic here is that whenever I click on comment here, I am actually running this code here, which is JavaScript and React. And what I am running here is a post request to my server. And what it's sending is a feedback ID, and it's also, it's basically sending a dictionary to the server with a key named body. So in the server over here, this is running on Django, which is on Python. In my server, I am capturing that ID that I'm submitting in the URL. I am also capturing the request. The request includes that dictionary that I'm pushing forward. It includes the ID of the user who submitted it, and then I'm extracting that. So I have the feedback object. I'm trying to find that feedback object using that post ID. I'm trying to find the user as well, and then I'm trying to load the request. So basically, the request comes in as a JSON envelope. That envelope, we have to open it. That's what this does. JSON loads. So you see here, JSON stringified, I guess just means that it closes the envelope, pushes it to the server. Over here, we open it. And then we have the comment, which really should be, again, we are looking for this. What are we looking for? We're looking for this here. So body and body. So hopefully that's where our comment is. And it's already in a string, maybe? I don't really know. That's what we're trying to figure out today. Just want to say hello to Frey Trades. He says that his goal for the new year is refinement and discipline. That sounds like a pretty good goal. To me, that is part of the purpose of life. You know, the purpose of life. You feel something special when every time you refine yourself, every time you have discipline. I mean, you cannot spend all day just having discipline. You cannot spend all day refining yourself. That's impossible. But when you do put in those moments that you do it, it feels amazing. So I don't really know where to go from here. I tried debugging this yesterday, and it was a big mess. It really was a big mess. And so let's go up here. So where do we go from here? I have no idea. Data is not refined, uncaught in the promise that my data is not defined. So I'm going to go back up here to see how exactly I'm submitting new posts, because the code is quite similar, and hopefully we could copy something from there, I guess. So here we have a new post form. So that's actually this form up here, the one that says suggest a feature. I have a bunch of stuff there, like all these constants that are keeping track of the title, the description, also the state of the yeah, and also the state of the actual form, although I'm not sure that's actually what that does. Sorry, 1 second. Yeah, I mean, I guess this is just, it initiates, but this title and description keeps track of that. And then when we submit that, we submit it to new feedback, and the syntax is actually the same here. Now it is a post request, and then in my server, I'm JSON loads request.body, and that gives me the data. So up here, new comment. Maybe that's what it is. Request.body. Again, it's the thing, a matter of syntax. Request.body is going to give me, let's go up here for a second, is going to give me, right? So we have request.body, and then we have something called title. Got it. So my data here is actually, data is a dictionary. So if it was not a dictionary, I actually think that's how it should be. Data, because we're not submitting a dictionary as a comment, we're just submitting it a straight up string. So therefore, we only need to key it using that dot notation. So that's new comment, and we have, yeah, so we have the body. We are just straight up passing a string there as a JSON, which might be actually part of the issue of why we're having problems with this. But yeah, so body is going to give us a JSON. Okay, so the request.body should give us a JSON. Let's see. So that's the request.body, okay, is giving us a JSON. So we have to unload it. That's what this does. And then we're saving as a data. So S data should actually be our comment. We'll delete this line for now. And so new comment should be comment of comment. Let's try that again. I don't know if we did this yesterday. I hope it actually works. And we have second. Let's try here. We'll do second comment, and we'll take a look before we submit. I want to keep an eye on my server debugger, which is down here, and I also want to keep a track of my console, which will log any errors. So let's see. We click on it. It actually worked, believe it or not. It actually worked. So if we click up here now, we'll be able to see it. So we can only see the second comment. The reason for that is because I haven't looped over this yet. But we're getting closer to where we need to be. So now we are displaying two comments here. And again, this number is not made up. This is coming straight from the database. but the behavior here is not correct. So once we submit, first of all, I want to leave this open here, and I want to go ahead. I guess oh, actually, the comments are here. Look, we have 2 comments now. You see, both comments are in there. And if I want to write a third comment, comment. So now I have 3 here. And if I take a look at it, it has 3. Now, I don't like this behavior where it's like I'm submitting it and then it closes it and then I have to reopen it. So we'll edit that in a second. But let me know in the comments, maybe what should I add? What else is missing here? I think a date might be appropriate. So we'll add third comment and then we'll add the date maybe to the left of it as like a tiny, smaller text. That might be an improvement here. Let's just go ahead and do that. So our comments feed is actually coming from here. And this is how it's returning everything. So I think this might be part of the issue that I guess we're disabling things here. Let me take a look quickly here. So maybe I shouldn't be yeah, so when I submit a comment, maybe I shouldn't run this handle post like reload. Maybe I should just not do that. And let's rerun this again. Hopefully I'll leave it open. It's just an easy guess. So again, we have those 2 comments here. And this isn't like moving around when you open it. But I think if you open it like this, and I click on here, you see that makes a little bit more sense. It's not perfect. A lot of that has to do with the fact that I am using Bootstrap and not like a nice looking design. Bootstrap is not the nicest design, but still, this is definitely the correct functionality that we want. And so when I type in here, 4th comment, if I click on comment, you see it looks like it doesn't do anything, although our server did move. So if I reload that, 4th comment is in there. So how do I actually reload these without actually reloading the card? So it's a bit of a weird one because we're used to reloading cards, but here we're reloading something inside of the card. And so let's go back here and try to figure that one out. So the logic here is, and I think part of the issue is that we're using this return statement here, which has this if, like it has like a if else conditional to it, and it's basically dependent on this load comments thing going on here. So I'm trying to figure out exactly how do we, it might be a matter of using a use state, or let me see here, hold on. Yeah, it's not really leaving it open. Hold on, getting phone calls here. Okay, so how do we actually do this? So it would be similar to use state, but a use state loads when the entire page loads. I only need this to load whenever I open a card. So how do I do that? Let's try the AI here for a second. Wants me to sign in here. Hold on. let's see how we can do this. So let me think for a second. So we have a component. We have a React component, which when I click, it loads a bunch of comments for a card, let's just say. It loads. It also loads the form to add a new comment. When I submit the form, it is not showing the new comment. I have to reload the page and open the card to see it. How do I? Load the new comment automatically. Which React feature to use? Okay, so maybe we should just have, I think what it's saying is correct. So a use state, but it's a use state. So before here, let me undo whatever I deleted here. Before I'm doing this handle post reload, which is also a use state, but it's a use state for all the cards, or as far as I remember. Yeah, I think it's a handle post like it actually, yeah, I think it's for all, like it reloads the actual card. We don't want to reload the card. We just want to reload the comments inside of the card. So we'll take this out. And we want to do use state. Use state hook. How to do that? Give a simple example. All right, so my comments, so let's see what we're rendering out here. My comments are actually, okay, so my comments feed is this. It is a use state, actually. I call it my comments feed, really. And then when I render it, I am rendering from that. So that's comments feed of the use state. When you submit the form, call add comment. Okay, so before I mess with this code, let me do this again, just to understand something quickly here. So let's see, fifth comment. Click on that, and it seems like nothing happens, right? So this makes sense because I am still basically here seeing the previous value of that use state of this one here of comments. So again, comments is just an array via use state of all the comments. So what I'm seeing here is that original value, the one that I loaded when I first loaded the card, which means that if I were to update that without even fetching the server, if I were just to go ahead and update the information which is in memory in the front end onto this, I should be able to see that. So let's try that. Yeah, so now you see it says 5 on it. Use state to manage the comments. Update the state when a new comment is added. So that would be constant. So we have that, which I think we already have this type of constant up here. We have new comment, which is a use state. Hold on. New comment, handle change. Yeah, I think it's called this comments feed. So it's a use state, just like this, comments feed. And then we have constant of add comment. It'll take that new comment and it'll use set. I guess it'll use set state of comments feed to leave everything else. And add that new comment. We submit called the add comment with a new component. This will update the state and re-render. And my question here is, from what I said before, but this is all happening locally without fetching the server. And you'll see what it does. Yes, exactly. I guess this is good for user experience. I guess I would have an issue with this in reality, because what if people don't have like, what if there's multiple users adding a comment to that card? Well, you're not going to be able to see all of them, because you're just gonna you're not reloading that card, you're just still displaying it. So the example I put assumes everything is happening locally without fetching from a server. If you need a fetch, you would use effect, right? And fetch. Yeah, so that's what I would rather use effect. Give an example with use effect, but please note it should not load when the page loads, only when user clicks to open the relevant card. Then I want to display the comments for that card. So let's see. So this is a very simple example, but it's definitely getting us in the correct direction. And this is better than the other way, because it's going to load it from the server. It's always going to have correct data. Constant comments, set comments. I already have this. Is card open? False, which that's what this is. So I already have all this. I just have it in a different syntax. I did it as a dictionary here, which you could do that. And the reason you would do it like this is so that if you have to update each variable separately, it's not going to load the page twice. It'll just load it. You can update those variables together. Like, if you're going to update those variables anyways at the same time, the page will load twice if they are defined how the AI wants to define it. However, if you were to define those variables together as a dictionary and then you update them together, the page will only reload once. And that's the reason why we're doing it like that. And const fetch comments, async, whatever. This is not what I'm doing. I'm using something. I'm using fetch, not async. So it's a different library altogether, but I guess we could explore that for later. So the patch maybe would be here. Yeah, fetch comments, handle click, handle cart click. Okay, so it's just starting to get a little bit more complicated, but basically when I click on this here, right now it's just running this, like it's setting my variable. Let's see, comments feed. Yeah, it's setting this here to, no, it's setting it to this comments active. So right now the default is false. When I click here, that's converted to true, and then I could see it, right? So right now it's empty, so there's no comments, but at least it shows the form. That's the correct behavior. And right, and you'll see here, like I can give here my first comment, hit comment. And if I reload it, which again, we're going to fix NSS, so you have this one has 5, this one has 1, these have 0. Fine. And our comment is definitely down here. First, again, we're going to fix that later, how that actually shows up. And so hold on for a second. Just trying to check something here quick. Where's my... Okay, so push here. So again, I'm just trying to run through this quickly, how I would do this. So because we already have some of the stuff there. So this is already taken care of. And then we have the fetch comments, which we also have that. We're just calling it by a different thing, but it's load comments. And then we have our use effect. So I'm trying to figure out exactly how we would use that. If card is open, then fetch comments. Okay, so that would be the first thing to do here, is to, in this return down here, instead of just doing a div, I believe we can return down here a function. So let's try that. And I'm just going to copy paste it from there. Again, we're allowed to copy paste from AI as long as it's the CS50 AI, not ChatGPT. ChatGPT also is kind of confusing if you're just starting out, because ChatGPT is not perfect. So it's going to spit out a lot of useful information, true. But if you don't have that much experience, you're going to think that all of it is correct. I would say only about 70%, 75% of it is correct. You have to be very careful with the other 25%. You can get very lost and very stuck if, again, if you don't have like the correct background. But with that said, use effect, if card is open, yeah, so I'm going to go back here. Word, I wonder if you could use useEffect just to return. So I'm not really sure if you could do that, but I guess I could do it for this constant of load comments. So I'm loading the load comments up here, and then that eventually inputs that into whatever. So below here, before I return, I could put in a use effect. Let's try it like this. I really don't know. Effect, use effect, and then, well, it's the right color, so it's already a good sign. And so we have our brackets here, and we're keeping track of this variable. I think we need another one also, is card open. So this is card open is actually this one here. So this comments active, which the default is false. So we're keeping track if our comments are active, and if they are active, well, we want to load. We want to load on click load comments. So we want to load our comments like that, right? Now we have to change down here what this does. So it wouldn't be load comments. On click would actually run comments active. So the way to do that would be const of hold on. The way to do that is with this. So we have our use state. Yeah, so we have our use state over here. And then we want to just handle, let's just call it handle comments. And what does my handle comments does? It basically takes set state and it wants to, it takes that function and it sets the opposite of whatever the value of state dot comments active is. This is a bit of a weird syntax, but I think it's correct. We'll see if it runs. This is a weird syntax, but that's how you update state comments active. You want to do the opposite of that, and then you use the set state for that. I'm trying to figure out if you need to do a dot dot dot. It might be that you need to do that. Let me see. Is this correct? Is this correct syntax? Yeah, okay, this is the correct syntax. That was close though. So let's replace it with this. Okay, and I'm gonna check it obviously to make sure it's correct. So we have comment, yeah, so this is okay. Handle comments will be it will be a set state of prev state. What is prev state? I'm not really sure. So it's passing the previous state, I guess. And prev state comes after. Let me see, what is prev state? I never saw it before. What is prev state? Is a parameter that represents the previous state before the object, unless it accesses the current state values. Is that a built-in, I don't know, const from React? Where are you? If you are if you're naming it there, where are you passing it into the actual, into the function? How is it in the set state function? You pass a function as an argument. React automatically provides the previous state as the argument to that function. Here's the relevant part again. Okay. Okay, I understood it now. So basically, this is the syntax. So here is where you would, that's what I tried to do before, but this is where you would define like the previous values, and I guess you can name that whatever you want as long as these two have the same name. Got it. So set state is actually passing the entire dictionary. It's saying keep everything, and then it's saying update this from whatever that original value was for that particular. So this is again just accessing that dictionary key and updating the value to the opposite. Okay. So that's what handle comments does. And then once we have this, well, I would say that we want to just go ahead and pass that onto our button. So the new comment, yeah, so whenever someone clicks on it, what we want to do is load this thing called handle comments. Make sense? Let's try that again. Now, I don't think actually, so you use effects. Let's try that again. It's not loading at all. Okay, I knew it wasn't going to load. It's always a problem. Let's see again. Comments active is not defined. Right, so it's not comments active, sorry. It's actually state. So it's state dot comments active, and our use effect did have a conditional. Let me go up here. So we're already handling the card click. Now we just want to load this, and I don't know why we didn't do that before. Let me see. So yeah, if my state, if state.comments active, this is checking if this is set to true. I want to load my comments. And I always want to keep track of that. I want to reload that if this state changes, which I don't think that's the correct syntax, but we'll fix it in a minute. I actually want to make a new variable and then keep track if I added a new comment. That's when I want to reload. Let's see if this is not broken. Look, so it's working okay. And then if I click on here, it is loading everything. And I believe it only loaded for that one. Yeah, it just sent the one thing. Now, we are looking great over here. And the nuance here is that now we have use state, which is this React feature, which is going to make this a lot more dynamic. It's going to keep tracking us. It's going to be on the lookout constantly to see if anything changed. And it will update everything here directly and display it directly without us having to do much. So I believe all that's left to do is when I submit a new comment, I want to update a certain variable that will tell my use state to reload, and that's it. So let's take a look. To reload. So where am I submitting my new so here, my new comment is right here. Handle submit. So again, it says the comment to 0, and I also want to reload comments. So I would call this reload comments. I'm going to define it in a minute. So my reload comments function, I'm just going to go ahead and define it up here. So that's const reload comments. And it will be very similar to this one down. Hold on. This whole thing will just be a copy of this thing we have down here. Literally the same thing. So you'll see in a second. This is the cool thing about React. You can just copy, paste, reuse a lot of the code that you write as you write along the way. Okay, continuing here. Yeah, so my hold on. We have right here reload comments. I'm gonna just get rid of that and paste here my other code, and that's it. I'm just hold on. Yeah, so I'm gonna call this reload comments or reload comment, whatever. Set reload comment, and this will be called handle reload comment. Let's do it with an S. Who cares? Reload comments. Set reload comments. So reload comments, set reload comments, use state equals false. Then we have handle reload comments. What this is going to do is set reload comments to the opposite of the initial value. So that would be set reload comments to the opposite of reload comments. Again, it's like a tongue twister, but it's actually very simple code. And then what we're going to pass to that function is just handle reload comments. So copy that and we'll pass this over here. So again, when someone submits, it'll handle reload comments. And the last thing that's left to do is to pass this variable to our use state, so it's keeping track of it, and whenever it changes, it'll reload everything. So that would be right over here, which in all honesty, I don't believe we need to actually, we do need to pass it, because we do need to pass. I thought we only need to pass the second one, but we do need to pass the first one as well, because otherwise it's not going to keep track when we update it. It's not going to know when we click on it, because it's always going to only have the initial value when you loaded the page. So with that said, let's reload all of this, and reload comments is not defined. How so? So let's just Maybe I defined this in the wrong place. We'll define it lower here. Although I don't see how that matters really. So again, const reload comments, use state false, handle reload comments. Const state, use state. Okay, let's keep going here. And hit comments active true. Yes. Load comment, use effects. Load comments. Let's try this again. Okay, it seems like it's working now. And we click on it. Everything seems to be working very nicely. If we click on here, what is it, 6th comment. I would click on comment. So now it's reloading. We see it. It's very nice. This took me like 2 days to implement, but we are definitely one step closer to just the overall project. And you will see that we could do that for really any card here. Now, when I open this, I have a question here. Like, is it actually reloading everything? It looks like it is, right? I don't want that behavior. I want it to just open. Yeah, so that's not the behavior that we want. So we solve one problem and then we find another one or another bug. Let's see, first comment, and we see it right here. Second, it just updates automatically very nicely. When I click on here, it's reloading the page though. I don't want that. So let's think about this for a second, how we can fix it. So when I click on it, it's calling this handle comments function. My handle comments function is here. Got it. So I think part of the issue is that I think we're defining this inside of a we are setting that up. Hold on. I think it has to do with the fact that we're doing it inside of a use state. I'm not really sure. Let me that doesn't make any sense. Hold on. By the way, I'm recommending to everybody to just, whenever they're coding, just live stream it. Why not? Like you doing public learning is the best. Like the fact that I have to talk about it, I feel over the course of many months, I understand things better just from having to talk about it. You know, it's in my mouth. It's fresh. Like I'm understanding it better. Okay. Six users. So if I click on here, it's reloading the page. Why is that? So when I click on that, so on my on click here, it's doing handle comments. That is a good question. So it's not actually reloading the page. I'm just noticing the URL up here. It's not moving. Take a look. So if I click on this comments here, if I click on here, it's not actually reloading anything, but for some reason it's moving things around. So when I click on it, let's see. When I click to see the comments, it's scrolling the page all the way to the top without reloading it. How do I keep the page in the same spot so I can see the card I'm opening? Can you give me an example? Example of how to ensure the component update where you handle the click event and render the comments as well as the scroll behavior. Let's see. So get rid of that href. That's good. This is great news. The issue is the href. Using href can cause the page to jump to the top, so you can use a button element to prevent the default behavior of the anchor tag. Okay, and here's an example of using the button. All right, so we're gonna replace that a tag with this button. Where is it? Yeah, so this a tag has to go. We'll replace it with our button class name. We have that on click handle comments props total comments button. Okay, let's reload. If I click on it, it's loading. If I click on it, look at that, it's beautiful now, you see? And so that's great news. And why not? Might as well, if we already have a button, might as well go to style it nicely. So we can go to Bootstrap, documentation buttons. We have all these options here. Let's just get something nice. I don't know, like maybe a primary small one. Yeah, so let's try primary. So it's this one. That would be like that would just be a matter of giving it this class of btn whatnot outline primary. Let's try that. So we'll take out our class name of text dark and we'll replace that with btn space btn outline primary. We'll reload and you'll see that already looks much better. I actually wanted that to be a little bit smaller, so I think we could also do that. So it would be btn primary btn sm. So it's just a matter of adding that additional btn sm. Reload and we see that the buttons look a little bit smaller. If we click on it, see, if we click on it, it's loading now very nicely. It's basically how it's supposed to be. So if I type in here my first comment and click on comment, it shows here. So I guess a final optimization for today that we can do is I want to also display my date. You know, the date that the comment was posted in. So let's go ahead and do that. What are we passing from here? So whenever we get our comments, we're just getting I guess a list of data response. We can also pass it like a date. Okay, and then that would be comment. dot timestamp. And we get a normalized thing there, and we save. Let me see quickly here. We get comments feed data.comments. Right, so we're passing that list there. And yeah, so I think we do have access to it over here, so we can just add it to this. So it would be, you know, for every comment, we have the actual post.comment. So we could just go ahead and add another one here that says post.timestamp. And we could style that however we want. It's not showing. Hold on. Hold on. Oh, sorry, not timestamp, that date. So I made a mistake there, typo. Click on this here, and you'll see it gives us a very long date of Zulu and whatnot. I think we use a Python library at this. This is why I like Python so much. All we got to do now, I think, in our server end here is to normalize that date. So let's just go ahead and do that. I think that we can go ahead and hold on. I just want to display it like, you know, like a regular date. I do have some code that was doing that before, and actually I don't even know where I have it. It's in one of the projects. But now that I'm remembering, it is a bit of a long piece of code. Oof, where would that even be? I wonder if I could just search up here. Date. Let's try that. 10,000 results, you know. Let me see. I remember it being something like a %m. Was it this? Global settings? No. Not the formats. %m. Oh, here it is, I think. Let me see here. Views. Network project 4. Let me see. Yeah, it's right there. Oof, that was quick. That was very cool. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take this here. So again, this is a very weird syntax. This actually took me a while to write. That's why I remembered that I have it. So formatted day is equal to date time. So I'm using this library date time, which I will have to import to my, you know, to here, to my Django implementation. And then it's doing this crazy conversion here. I'm just going to copy all that code and adapt it. So views of feedback, good. So for every comment, what I want to do is I want to normalize, or I want to format the date. So that would be comment dot. It's not going to be comment dot date. It's going to be comment dot timestamp. Okay, and format date. Right, so I think if I remember this correctly, and it's giving me a bunch of errors, but who cares? We're gonna change that in a minute. If I remember this correctly, first it like formats it, okay, and then it actually formats it, if that makes sense. So first we like pass the actual timestamp through this, I don't know, we like pass it through this function here, and then we save it in this variable, and then we take that variable and we tell it what format we want. I think that's how we did it last time. And comment of timestamp. And so my normalized comment now will just include this formatted date down here. Let's try that. Let's see if that actually works. Unless I have to load it. Yeah, I think I need to load my date time library. I gotta look up documentation for that. I actually do not remember. Let me see, Django date time library. Yeah, so this is what that is, I think. How do I import? This is the easiest way. How do I import date time library into Django view? So it's just this date time. Let's see. So you see, I don't have that up there. I'm gonna add it from datetime, import datetime. Yeah, so now it fixed it, hopefully. Let's see. Ooh, what was that about? No, it's giving me a mistake. Datetime. What is happening here? Yeah, so this type object datetime.datetime has not no attribute datetime. So I'm gonna delete this. I'm just gonna leave it import datetime. So it's gonna import all the entire set of libraries instead of just that one specific thing. And now it works. Yeah, so I guess it's using not just datetime, but it has other ones. I mean, it has both. Meaning it has a whole bunch of them, and I'm using two from those. So I have like datetime.datetime, and then I'm also using string f time. So those are like two functions from within the library. So I wanted to just include the entire library and use whatever I need. I guess technically if we didn't want to import, which I don't know how much server space this is going to save me, but you know, if I just wanted to do from datetime, I would need to import datetime, meaning it is, I guess, good practice to only import the parts of the library that you actually need. Otherwise the server is just going to load the entire library and you're just wasting server resources. But again, I don't know how big the library is. It could just be a matter of a couple of kilobytes, nothing too crazy. But let's just do good practice here, which would be, yeah, so if I'm loading those comments, I need to load string f time and date time. Yeah, so those three. Hold on. I need to load date time, string f time, and I need to also load where was it? This one. From is to format, I believe. Let's try that. No, it's breaking up. Just leave it, import the entire datetime library, and leave me alone. How about that? Doesn't really make a big of a difference. So we click on it, and now you see we have the correct format here, really. I wish this was a little bit different, but whatever. I feel like it's taking like a crazy amount of space just to display this date here. So maybe we can make the text a little bit smaller. Maybe gray it out. Maybe Bootstrap has a better way of doing this, like a nicer looking way. Maybe like a badge or something. You see, like this, headings, and we have badges, buttons. Ooh, this is a nice button. How about we use this one here? This looks even nicer than that other one. How about we just use that one? Wow. I wasn't expecting this. Let's just, yeah, I want to do that one. This looks much better than this little, whatever that is even. I don't know. So let's try a button. We'll copy paste everything here and fix it up. Or not fix it up, but like match it to our needs. So, yeah, so we'll leave everything here the same, I guess. We do need to pass over our on click. So that would be, we could just do that. We could do class name here. Again, in regular HTML, you would just use exactly what Bootstrap is giving you. But if you're working in React, you have to change a couple of things. One of them being this, instead of using a class, you have to use class name. That's just how it works. But it's the same exact thing. It's just React likes it to be spelled in a different way. So then we would do this. We would just do notifications. We can just do comments here. And here, instead of having a number, we can just pass our actual value, which is this props.total comments. Okay. And so we have our button, type button, class name, we have the on click, and then we have the total comments. So I think it's safe to say we can delete this one on the top. You know what? I'm going to leave it, and you guys tell me which one you like better. I guess neither of them, huh? What's the issue here? Got you. It doesn't like that I put two buttons in there. So let's do that like this. Reload. And does that look better or what? I think it does, right? And then we could do like this. Maybe we can do secondary. Button secondary. And BTN SM. I mean, this is as far as I'm willing to go with graphic design. Even though the reason, I'm going to tell you guys, the reason why I hate graphic design so much is because I actually spend a fair amount of time designing WordPress websites before I got into coding. And it was brutal. I mean, I wasted so much time making sure that every card and every div and every button looked so perfect using WordPress. And those days, Elementor had just come out. It was just brutal. I mean, I don't recommend it to anybody unless you actually really like it. But I think that if you really like it and you get into it and you spend the amount of time that I spent on it, you will come to hate it. For sure. I mean, there's just no way around that. BTN button primary. I'm going to change it to this. This is starting to look better. Now, why is it not gray? I'm not sure. Maybe I need to include something else. So here we have like this badge and documentation, blah, blah, blah. You okay? So my badge does not show a gray background. I'm going to include this, although it might already be there. So this whole page here is actually a compilation of multiple pages. So we have this internal thing here in the light gray. That's the file we have been working all along. I actually have two other files. I have my menu options. So I'm going to show you here, if I can find it. So yeah, we have something called here in Django. And not, I mean, Django's, I guess most frameworks work like this. I don't really know, but teleport app, templates. So again, I have my, yeah, so what I have is, I have just this window inside is one HTML file, which we have been so far writing all of our JavaScript in there. I might separate it into a separate JavaScript file eventually, but whatever, it doesn't really matter. So that's one file. Then I have another file which is giving me the external things here, like the actual page, like the entire page. And then there's another file called layout, which actually gives me the layout of the menus. So here I have, you know what? I did make a mistake with that explanation. It's actually two files, not three. So again, it's the light gray area here. That's one file. I called it index.html. And the outer file where I have my menus and just the whole page structure, that's actually called layout.html. And I have two types of layout. I have one for users who are logged in, and then I have a different one for users that are not logged in. So if we go quickly to our logged in, here I'm defining my Bootstrap stuff, like my script. Let me see here. And so I'm gonna add this link, which I already have, I'm pretty sure. So that is that. I'm gonna delete this actually. I'm gonna delete my stack path. Let me go back. Yeah, so I have this unpackaged, which I think is just a bunch of JavaScript dependencies for, hold on, it's for Bootstrap. So here is the, I guess I am running, the newer Bootstrap is running on 4.5.2, and I'm actually running an older version, 4.1. So I'm gonna delete this older one. Right there. I'm getting rid of that one. Okay. I'm gonna reload here. I hope it really works. So it's not loading, it's not working. Let me open a new private window and see. So if I go to my, to my app here, I'm actually, I'm logged in already? No, wait a second. How am I logged in here already? I'm not. Okay. So this is a separate, this is what I was talking about, that this is a separate layout file for the app for users who are not logged in. If I log in here, test2@gmail, just made that up, test2, sign in. And so we should be able to see that now. So still not able to see that, you see? All right, so I guess we're gonna have to leave that one for tomorrow. Thank you for joining this coding session. Wishing you all again and Happy New Year. And if your goal is to learn how to code, this is where okay, so I think almost 2.5, almost, yeah, it was 3 years ago, I was in the same place as you guys. I wanted to learn how to code. I was actually handicapped. I was like spending a lot of time with a broken leg in bed all day, and I really wanted to get into tech. I literally opened up CS50 on January 1st, and I started to learn how to code. Guys, all of you can get to this point. Like you could see, this looks like a lot of advanced code, but I'm telling you, CS50 teaches you everything step by step. And if you really stick with it, you'll see that you can make it. My only recommendation is, when you're first starting out, make sure you put 2 hours of coding every single day. Today I put an hour and 20 minutes. That's also okay. But do not let it go, and do not let it go a couple of days without coding. So if you want to put in your 1 hour, 1 or 2 hours every single day, if you miss a day, that's okay. But don't let it go. Definitely don't miss 2 days in a row. And if you miss 2 days in a row, the third day, it's like a top priority for that day to get it back into coding. You should never, never, never miss more than 3 days in a row of coding. With that said, thank you for joining, and see you in the next webinar.